Awesome. DCF, the good old uni days when I had to do that as an exam question. All right.
Dude, these days there are like websites out there. You just pull it out, dumb numbers, bang, it comes out.
There you go.
And it's not that complicated anymore. So yeah.
Jesus. All right. Awesome. All right. I think in
Boomer.
interest of time, we'll just keep on to the last bit for me. And I think I want to just structure it a little bit. So Kroger just had an earnings call as well. Just reported that they have actually increased in terms of revenue. If you look at a 2-year revenue gap, right? So if you compare 2 years ago, they have increased their revenue. As compared to last year, they have decreased a little. But there was plenty of good that came out of this report. And yet, I guess my news every time is all about the nosedive. It did decrease in terms of stock price, right? Now, and the question I want to put forth is, a lot of the information out here, Kroger, in case you don't know, is sort of Walmart's competitor. They're really looking at the groceries. They're also in the pharmaceutical space. And obviously with the pandemic, everybody was at home. Everybody's got circuit breaker, lockdown, et cetera, people buying from them, which then saw a quarterly decrease in terms of the earnings report. And my question to Reggie and CS is, do you think that investors are already sort of a post-COVID era where they're sort of going out already? They don't care about it. They want to take the money out of these pandemic stocks and put it into other stocks that will give them the growth of the next 2 to 3 years. What are we thinking?
Yeah, I think it's definitely hard to compare against last year, right? Last year, everyone was forced to essentially buy their own groceries. And every single company kind of had definitely got the tailwind of that. So I do think there is that aspect of it. Funny enough, I was actually just talking to a friend last week. I think Reggie would enjoy this. This guy is located in Canada, is Korean, and his family does own a few grocery stores.
Oh my God, that's like Kim's Convenience.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there we go.
Is his name Kim? Or...
Yeah. No, his name is Jung. His sister is Janet.
Right.
Where is Appa and Amma, right? So yeah, oh my God, love it. That's why I hate Shang-Chi. I just cannot shake off Jung. I look at Jung, I'm like, that is Jung, right? There's no superhero vibes here. Just a comedian. And Kimchi, where's Kimchi? Kimchi, right? Anyway.
Yeah, and they were like, so he was just saying that as an industry, like it's still a very easy industry to make money, right? It's a very stable inflation hedge type of environment, right? And I think that's when I think about groceries now, it's like that. I think that is what I would be looking at. Is this is definitely a safety play. It's definitely inflation hedged. And if people are really bidding it down, then the way I would kind of read into this is really more along. And sorry, it's not just like Kroger per se, but if it's the whole industry that was kind of seeing a compression of multiples. Then I'd be looking at it as okay, they don't see inflation as a major issue going forward, right? So yeah, that's how I would read it. I haven't spent too much time in the grocery space, so I can't speak too much about that.
Yeah. So
Reggie?
I totally hear you in terms of grocery space. So essentially, I am an avid grocer, guys. Right. So when I'm early for a meeting, I'll be at the NTUC. If in between something there's nothing to do, I'll be at Sheng Siong, right? So I'm an avid grocer, and I've been following a lot of these grocery companies in the past, right? A few years ago. They are not in the media circuit today because, there are all these other things to talk about. But there was a period of time when people were talking about biting back the supply chain, creating their own house brands to increase margins. There was also a lot of talk of premiumization of products. And all those are ongoing, right? So a lot of your bigger brands, whether it's a Walmart, and Costco, they have gone through the process of premiumization of their products. Costco went to the other side, which is to create their own house brands. So Walmart went through the premiumization of their product together with Target, together with Kroger. So my biggest issue with Kroger is that it is not best in class. It is not the most interesting, and it doesn't have the biggest repertoire. It does not have the biggest footfall. It does not have the most premium products. It's not the cheapest. Costco is the cheapest, and we've done a geek out also about Costco. So they're so cheap that, it's a advantage for them, it's like an economic mode because I am so cheap, right? So if you think about it, Costco dominates the space. Walmart dominates the whole premium space. And even for pharmaceuticals, CVS is doing a much better job vertically integrating the kind of healthcare experience, right? You have clinics, pharmacy, and insurance providers, all integrated under CVS Health Hub. So if you have not looked at this space, you should go and check out some of these other guys. And Kroger is just one of those like in between like what are you doing? You know, like I don't know. I don't know. So
they are pretty big, though. They are quite big.
Okay, yeah. So I'm not saying that they're small, you know, and there is definitely enough for a lot of different players to be in this space. I mean, you can already tell, right? And different guys will optimize their supply chain to meet their goals, and there are regional players in this space. All right. So I'm not saying that Kroger is small. I'm just saying that relative to the other guys, you know, these guys are not like, they're not the most interesting. They're not dominating in any sense of the game. Whether it's premiumization, whether it's house brands, whether it's variety, you know, whether it's footfall, you know, whatever you. So they're not dominating in any of the space. But what I think, Rakesh, you're talking about is that as a lot of people are leaving, you know, the post-pandemic life, they're going to spend money in the real economy, and we're seeing a different shift in how consumers will spend. That a lot of these safe pandemic bets are getting rolled back, right? So that, I don't know. I cannot speak for it. It depends on what investors are looking for. But I do think that there was a few months that a lot of these retail guys were being bidded up like crazy, right? So as of today's price, across the board, I do think Kroger is just not the most interesting guy. So not
Fair
something
enough.
I will look at. But yeah, not stock advice, not recommendation.
So I think just to you know, to sum up here as well, it was industry wide. So Target took a dip, Costco took a dip, Walmart took a dip, Kroger took a dip. So it could very well be industry wide, that sort of this post pandemic era is sort of going on. So do have a look at that. And good points from a GNCS.